Hi everyone, Jean here with Studio JD. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we were going to be making these 3 treat boxes using the adorable little faces in the Simon Says Stamp Hello There stamp set. In addition to the little animal faces, this set features 3 bold sentiments and some accessories to go with your critter. This gives you maximum flexibility for how you want to use these little faces on your project. I've gone ahead off screen and stamped and colored all of the critter faces and 2 little bows that I think I might want to use on my project. I've used my scissors to cut the bottom portions of these just in case I need that little bit of extra room when I put the treat boxes together. I've included the Copic marker colors I used to color these critters on my screen. Feel free to pause and write those down if you'd like to keep track of them. Let's start by making this candy bar wrapper. You're going to start out with 2 12-inch strips of pattern paper that are cut to be just a little bit wider than the width of your candy bar. You'll need to die cut or hole punch a circle at the end of one of the strips in order to hold your candy bar. Just make sure that the circle that you cut is big enough to fit the candy bar. The finished length of the strips that you need is really going to depend on the length of your candy bar. So you can see here that I'm kind of messing around to try to figure out exactly what the right length is for this Reese's Fast Break candy bar that I've chosen. I want to make sure that there's enough room when I fold over the top pieces that I can still make a little bit of a flag end at the bottom of the candy bar. You'll be able to see here in just a minute what I'm talking about. With my length figured out, I've decided to go ahead and use liquid glue to hold down the bottom portion, which is going to be kind of make that little opening that I'm going to tuck my candy bar into. I'm going to go ahead and set that aside to let it dry. I've gone ahead and prepared the tag and the sentiment banner for the front of this candy bar wrapper. I've also gone ahead and cut the flag into the end of the wrapper. I'm going to be using a piece of ribbon to hold the top part of the wrapper in place. I'll be tying it around the back side and then through the tag that we just created with the puppy face on it. Once you have it strung through the tag, you can go ahead and tie it around the wrapper. Now, I probably did this the hard way. I probably should have just tied it around the wrapper first and then added the tag in after. So you're going to see me struggle a little bit here to try to figure out how best to hold this in place while I'm trying to make a bow. And in the end, I ended up using a reverse tweezers to kind of hold that piece in place while I actually tied the rest of the bow. With the ribbon in place, I go ahead and turn it upside down. This is just a trick that I learned a long time ago about how to make my bows turn out decent. They're not perfect, but I find that I get a better bow if I turn my project upside down when I make the bow. And I just have to do a little bit less futzing when I turn it back around the right way. So now all I need to do is trim off the ends of my ribbon and my candy bar wrapper is completed. And here's the inside of the wrapper and what that looks like. And you can see when I turn it here, you'll see kind of how the candy bar is nestled into that little circle that you die cut at the beginning and how the ribbon holds the rest of the candy bar in place. And there's a close-up shot. And then here's a look at what that final candy bar wrap looks like. Next, let's make this little window treat bag with a little bunny face on the front. I've gone ahead and die cut all the pieces for this little window bag. I've included links to these dies in the description box below. I'm going to start out by reinforcing the score lines on all of the pieces, just to make sure that I've got some clean folds, and to make sure that all of the pieces are going to fit together nicely. Once all of the score lines are reinforced, I'm going to do a quick little kind of dry fit here just to make sure that everything is fitting together the way that I want it to. With all of the score lines properly marked, I'm going to go ahead and add some adhesive tape to all the pieces, the side pieces. Whenever I use adhesive tape, I like to use my bone folder to go over the tape and just make sure that it's adhered down nice and firm, and that it just makes sure that the little treat box will not come apart. Now I'm going to adhere the side panels to the bottom of the treat bag. Now I'm going to go ahead and adhere the back of the panel to the side panels. At this point, I decided I wanted a window in the front of this treat box. So I've gone ahead and used the little rectangle window die that's included in the set. And I've cut the window into the front of the treat bag. And now I'm adhering a piece of acetate behind the window, so we can keep all the goodies kind of inside the bag. Once this treat bag is fully assembled, you can fit most smaller candies inside, but since I'm using these Ferrero Rocher candies, I had to put them into the treat bag before I attached the front to the side panels. You can see there you could get your candies in the top, but again, mine were just a little bit too big, so I put them in first. I've decided to use the little bunny face for the front of this bag. And so I've gone ahead, trimmed off the bottom part of the bunny face and added it to the front of this treat bag with a little bit of liquid glue. I didn't put liquid glue behind the portion of the ear that's on the acetate. I could have done that, but I felt like I could come in afterwards and kind of bend that ear a little bit and give the whole treat bag a little bit of extra dimension. And once again, you're going to see here that I turn my project upside down in order to create my bows. So you'll see that I've done that here too. Now all that's left is for me to trim the ends of the ribbon, and this little tree bag is complete. And here's another look at the final product. This last treat box is a pillow box, and he uses a pillow box die from Simon Says Stamp. I've gone ahead and die cut the box, and now I'm working on kind of burnishing those score lines. There's one main score line, and then the other score lines are curved. And so my technique for really burnishing those score lines is to just run the pointed edge of my bone folder gently around the edges of that curve, while using my finger along the back side in order to kind of get a really nice line. Once I've done that to all four of the curved edges, I'm ready to start assembling this treat box. I add some thin adhesive tape to that scored edge, and then I tuck in one end, just because I use it as a guide to make sure that I've lined up the ends of my pillow box when I put this together. So you'll see here, it kind of tuck them in just because then I can see where the ends are, and I don't risk getting it kind of uneven. So I got the left edge here, and I can kind of pinch it together, and I can get it over to the right edge, and you see that I can now pinch it all the way through. Now I can just use my bone folder to kind of push that one end piece out. And I'll just burnish that down to make sure I've got a good connection with that adhesive. Now I can fluff up my pillow box and fold over the ends. I can use my thumbnail there just to make sure that I have a really good fold for those flaps. With my pillow box ready, I've gone ahead and wrapped it with ribbon and added my little cat face to the front of it. I've wrapped this just like a present, crisscrossing my ribbon in the back. There's no need to add adhesive to the ends of this. The flaps will keep the treats inside, and the added ribbon around it will help keep it in place as well. I've gone ahead and bent the ears of the kitten to make it look a little bit more dimensional. And there you have it. One last look at the final pillow box and all three of the treat boxes we made today. Thank you all for joining me. If you've enjoyed this video, I hope you'll hit subscribe, and I hope you all have a wonderfully creative day.